This is the Climate Story Project, where we share real stories about how climate change is shaping our lives. Stories that connect us, stories that move us to act. This is a project of the New York Climate Exchange, a nonprofit organization that's accelerating climate solutions through our unique partnership model and climate campus on Governor's Island. This Climate Week NYC, we invited the public to tell us their climate story. The story you're about to hear is from Topher Dean, a participant at our American Museum of Natural History pop-up. Here's what Topher had to say.
I'd snorkel with my dad in the Caribbean. My dad retired and was like sailing down in the Caribbean. So I've been snorkeling all over the Caribbean with him, and it's just a spectacular diversity in colors. I remember snorkeling through these caves and then diving down a sea wall underneath. So there's like just this cliff underwater. And on the side of the cliff was just all these organisms, like just millions of them. And you could just see from a distance, like just kaleidoscope of color. And then as you get closer and closer, right, you can zoom in and see more textures and more shapes and more individual organisms, and you just get right up to your faces, like right up against it. And even within like a 6-inch area, you can just see just like 1,000 different colors and things like right there. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's just life saturation, life, you know? It's just so overwhelming, really. So beautiful, it was overwhelming. The coral reefs on this planet are the singularly most beautiful thing that has ever existed on the face of this earth. And to see it completely dead, gray, lifeless, the whole environment, was just mind-numbing. It was like 2015 or so. I was sailing with my cousin down in Grenada. And we went snorkeling, and it was totally dead. I'm not talking about bleached. There was no coral structures left. The entire floor of the ocean was gray, flat rubble. And there were no fish. There was no life. It was apocalyptic. And I thought, wow, maybe it was just this like one area, but we sailed all around the islands in that area, and everywhere we went snorkeling, it was like that. I knew already, because I've been following the climate crisis for like over 30 years now, that I knew that it was a heat climate event. I live in Hawaii predominantly. And about 10 years ago or so, I was surfing, and I realized that I was hot, uncomfortably hot, that I had to get out of the ocean because the ocean temperature was so hot. It was 90 degrees plus every day, all August and September that year, which in 40 years, I had never experienced like a day that was even 90 degrees in Hawaii. And that year, we had the first major bleaching event in Hawaiian history. And we lost 50% of Hawaii's coral reefs. In Hawaii, the corals are predominantly yellow and blue, and they're diverse. And then after the bleaching event, the corals, they all turn white. And some of them returned and regained their color, but some of them did not return. They died. It was frightening. One of the big problems is that not a lot of people snorkel on tropical reefs. They don't really know what they're losing. So when you hear that 80% of the Great Barrier Reef is dead, people are like, oh, that's sad. But they don't really know because they have not been snorkeling on the Great Barrier Reef. And I've been snorkeling in Indonesia and in Hawaii and Caribbean and stuff like that. When you see the level of beauty and to know that it's doomed is just soul crushing. I mean, that's one of the reasons I have a therapist. Like, I feel like I'm just a balloon filled with tears, like a water balloon of tears. It's not like climate crisis or loss of habitat or something like that. Those are all symptoms. The problem is we haven't evolved enough our behaviors, our competitive mindset, our desire to, increase our standard of living and to compete with each other for more of this or more power or more wealth or more status. That is the one thing I think, we focus on is trying to work on seeing ourselves and our behavior as a species.
This story is part of the Climate Story Project. To find more stories and learn more about the New York Climate Exchange, visit nyclimateexchange.org and follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram. This episode was produced by Kylie Miller. Thanks for listening.